shot! Dishes off to Jones, kicks it out to Aaron Martin, 4 seconds. Oh my goodness! He hits the three.
Are you kidding me, Aaron Martin?
Well, hello and welcome to Wildcat Week. I'm Roger Alcock. We're going to talk soccer first, as the IW men's soccer team was ranked 23rd going into the NAI National Tournament down in Delray Beach, Florida. Their first opponent was the 18th ranked Southeastern University. That match took place on November 30th down in Florida. Now, neither team scored in the first half, but Indiana Wesleyan had control throughout the first 45 minutes and in fact outshot Southeastern 7-1 in that first half. Well, the Wildcats struck their first and only goal of the match, which came in the 58th minute as freshman Sam Conti created a turnover deep into the Southeastern territory and fired a shot from the edge of the 18-yard box to the far post. The Fire nearly found the equalizer in the 75th minute, but an apparent goal was called off because of an offsides penalty. Now, senior Josh Geppert, he made a very difficult save on a ball that skipped low on the ground with less than 3 minutes on the clock. The Wildcats pulled away with the victory by beating Southeastern. Final score 1-0. The Wildcats outshot the Fire 16-7 and 5-2 with shots on goal. Geppert made 2 saves for the 13th shutout of the season, the second shutout in the NAI National Tournament. Well, the Wildcats faced Rio Grande in the quarterfinal round of the NAI Tournament. Rio Grande, the #1 ranked team in the nation. They've outshot their opponents 88-13 going into the match against Indiana Wesleyan. Their first goal came quickly as Luis Filo stunned everybody with a goal just 36 seconds into the game to give Rio Grande a quick 1-0 lead. And then just 15 minutes later, Eduardo Zurata gave the Red Storm a 2-0 advantage on a goal that bested senior Josh Geppert to the far post. Hector Del Mago gave the Rio Grande team its third goal in less than 31 minutes off a free kick, putting them up 3-0 going into the half. Well, that was all the scoring that took place in the game. The Red Storm advanced to the semifinals, having outshot the Wildcats 8-3 and with the final score of 3-0. The national championship quarterfinal appearance was the first in the history of men's soccer, so obviously a great season for those guys. The previous best was a round of 16 back in 2013. The Wildcats are now 2-2-2 in 3 national championship appearances. The last time, in fact, the Wildcats faced the #1 team in the country was back in 2013. They took on the defending national champions Belhaven and defeated them at Wildcat Field by a score of 1-0. Well, we're going to talk a little bit cross country now as we switch gears, and we welcome into the studio the head coach of the Wildcats, John Foss, and junior Jacob Reinking is in as well. And Coach, we had you in a few times this season. We talked cross country. It was an outstanding year. We're going to talk to the guys in a second. They had an outstanding day, an outstanding finish. I want to talk about the ladies, though, first for a second. Top 15 finish in the country. They finished 13th. I know you're hoping for maybe top 10, but they finished just outside of that. But again, you're pretty proud of their effort and their performance on that Saturday.
Yeah, absolutely. We had a really strong pack all season long. At the beginning of the year, if you had said we'd finish 13th, we would have been pleased with that. But as they progressed through the year, they did so well that we were hoping for a top 10 finish and fell a little bit short. But the gaps were great. The effort was tremendous, and we're very excited about the ladies.
One of the things I know you're super pleased about, not only what they did on the course, but off the course, they were recognized by the NAI with a character award, and that speaks volumes.
Yeah, they won the National Buffalo 5-Star Award for character, and we've never won that before as a program, men or women, and so that was a real thrill. We learned that on Friday night before the meet on Saturday.
And I know that's important to you as a coach. I mean, obviously you're there to compete, to win, to finish as high as you can, but there's more to the program than just wins and losses.
Well, and I'd like to say both our men's and women's teams, the character on these teams this year was way over the top. Really proud of them in everything they did, and this was just nice that it was recognized. It doesn't change who we are or what we did, but it was an honor.
Now, moving over to the guys, finished third in the country, just, 10 points out of those runner-up position. Had a great day, strong finish. And again, the depth, the pack, it pulled through on that day.
Yeah, and cross country is an interesting sport with everybody running in the same race. Certainly, Oklahoma City, the national champions, kind of ran away with it, but St. Mary's was not the team that we would have expected to be in front of us. We beat 3 or 4 teams that were rated ahead of us, and St. Mary's caught us on a good day by 10 points, which is not very many when the score is 168 to 178.
Now, Jacob, we'll bring you into the conversation. You had a great day. We talk a lot about what a great year and runner that Nino Bellinati has had, but there's been a lot of guys behind him like yourself, and in fact, you end up being the top finisher for the Wildcats. You finished 17th. Nino finished 19th, so you're both All-American. But you were telling me before the show, it was just an awesome day down there.
Yeah, it was a beautiful day for running. I mean, a little less than 60 degrees, no wind, flat course. It was just a great day. To be there as a team, I was glad that all the guys got to be there as well to experience everything that was going on. So,
it's a team. It's an individuals as part of a team sport. But top 25 make All-American or top 20?
Actually, top 30.
Top 30 make. So, going in, was that a goal you set? Try to make All-American?
we kind of had that in the back of our mind all season. With how well last year went, we knew that it was a possibility. Definitely, I didn't expect to finish as high as I did. I was just hoping for somewhere in the top 30, but it was definitely. I mean, just everything played out perfectly. I mean, couldn't have asked for anything better.
The other thing I was going to ask you about, and we've talked about it already a little bit, but the team concept. We talked, we know Nino is the guy who usually is leading the pack, but I mean, he's cheering you on. You guys are working together. Yeah. That pack comes together. The gap between 1 and 7, you said, was only about 1 minute and 20.
Yep.
Unbelievable, isn't it? I mean, there's strength in those kind of numbers.
Yep.
Really is.
Now, what does that mean for you guys, though, going forward? I mean, this was a couple weeks ago. Now it's time to prep for next year. How do you approach an off season in cross country to build the team for next year?
Yeah, well, this journey started back in February of last year when we set our goals, had a team meeting, and we'll repeat that same exercise sometime over the winter. We are taking a little bit of a breather and enjoying third place, and but we're not satisfied. We are recruiting hard, and because we lose some valuable seniors. But Jacob's back, as well as 4 of our top 8, and we have an excellent group that have already signed. So we feel very confident that next year we can, be at least where we were, if not better.
Now, Jacob, do you run any events in the spring in terms of track and field as well?
Yep, I mainly do the 5K. I mean, that's been my main event the past couple of years, but this year I'm actually going to try a 10K because I got permission from Coach. So, but yeah, 5K has been it's something that I've really enjoyed the past couple of years. So it's been a great experience, and to be able to do it with teammates is even better.
Well, again, guys, we thank you for coming on in throughout the season, talking cross country. It was a great year, and looking forward to track and field in the springtime. Should be a lot of fun as well.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we're looking
Hopefully we'll
forward
have
to
some
it,
good weather.
Yes, we always do.
All right. Yeah, well, maybe not always, but all right. Well, thanks again. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Well, when we come back, we're going to take a look at men's basketball as the Wildcats travel to Spring Arbor to take on the Cougars in Crossroads League play. Also be joined by the head coach of the Wildcats, Greg Tonigal, so stay tuned. Well, welcome back to Wildcat Week, the newly named #1 ranked team in the country. The Wildcats of Indiana Wesleyan traveled to Spring Arbor University, and they shot the lights out in this game. IW was 63% from the field and 64% from three-point range. The Wildcats' largest lead of the game was a 30-point lead with 18:10 remaining in the second half. The Wildcats routed the Cougars by a final score, 91-71. Leading the way for the Wildcats was senior Johnny Marlin. He had 18 points. And get a load of this, he was 6 of 7 from beyond the three-point arc. Sophomore Jacob Johnson added 15 points, and junior Lane Mahurin contributed 13 points, along with 7 rebounds in that basketball game. Well, I'm joined now by the head coach of the Wildcats, Coach Greg Tonigal. And Coach, it's good to get back onto the winning side of things, and After that tough loss at home to Marion, you have to go on the road in a Crossroads League game. Spring Arbor's not a place easy to play, not a gym that you think it's easy going and shoot well, but you guys just shut the lights out.
That was probably, to me, the most satisfying part of that was to shoot well in that place. We haven't done it in a couple of years, and we talked about that as a team. A lot of it's just mental. And as a shooter, you got to have that mental toughness. And I felt our guys walked into that place with that toughness.
You got off to a very good start. Jumped out on them early, really didn't give them much of a chance to get into the ball game. You had a 56-33 lead at half, so you're up by 23. But getting that quick start, that's always key, isn't it?
Yeah, we came out and hit our first 11 shots, which I don't know if we've ever had a team do that. But that gave us some energy and momentum, and we continued to ride that.
As we take a look at as we saw some of those highlights, and Johnny Marlin, we talked about him being 6 for 7. Jacob Johnson starting to assert himself a little bit more. He's hard to stop down there one-on-one, isn't he?
I think you said it best. He's starting to assert himself, and when he does, he's just another weapon that we have. He's long, he's pretty athletic, and he's starting to play more aggressive.
Josh Maywar, he's been very consistent. I think maybe your most consistent guy, at least from what I've seen so far this year.
He's a senior, and that's what seniors do. They rise up to that next level, and he's certainly done that.
Taking advantage of a turnover here. We saw Grant Evans just a minute ago hit the 3. I really like how he's been patient and tried to fit himself into the team.
Yeah, Grant's done a great job. He's coming off the bench. He provides another weapon for us, but he's also really making his teammates better.
And if you saw Johnny hit the 3 a minute ago, you come out hard at Jacob, he's going to drive past you. You try to dump it into him, he'll kick and find the open guy. And when Johnny's shooting like that, holy cow, he's unstoppable.
Yeah, Johnny, he can do that. Sometimes you got to remind him to shoot, but he's an excellent shooter, and when he shoots like that, it opens so many more things up for everybody else.
Had really balanced scoring in this game. We mentioned Johnny's 18, Jacob with 15. Lane had 13. There's 2 on that putback there. Grant Evans with 11, Josh with 10. So he had 5 guys in double figures. Really doing a good job sharing the basketball.
It really spread it around, got a lot of guys involved. And I think that truly is the strength of this team. It's the scoring versatility that we have.
Is there any explanation for how a team can just go into some games and shoot like that or play like that? And that's what you've done for the most part of this season. Marion, you seem to just kind of, not to bring up bad memories, but
I was having a good day until you decided to bring it up.
But the contrast between now they're 2 different teams, obviously. But
I could probably give you one. It'd probably take a half an hour, which basically means no. I mean, I don't understand that. You come out at home, you can't make a shot. You go on the road, you make your first 11. Obviously, Marion's a good team, did a much better job defensively, but that's the psychology of coaching. I mean, you're dealing with 18 to 22-year-olds, and so much of it's not X and O's and more what's between the ears.
We have seen here at home, you've got a lot of depth to this team. You've been able to go very deep. 10, 11 is not unusual at all. Are you getting to the point now where conference rolling into the senior? I mean, I know we move out of conference over break, but back into it, do you think you have to shorten the bench up a little bit, or utilize that depth, or just go with the hot hand, or what's the approach right now?
It's a little bit of both. I think what we want to do is we want to play to our strengths, and so who's ever playing the best is going to get those opportunities. We don't have a set lineup or a rotation right now. I mean, it's still being formed, and guys have every day in practice is that opportunity to prove that. And so, we're probably 10 deep right now. Usually we'll play 9, 8, because at the end of the day, if Johnny Marlin's on the bench, whoever's playing for him better be playing equally as well. But everybody's got that opportunity, and we're still trying to figure things out. It's early.
Well, you're 1-1 in the conference. You have another big conference game now against Huntington on Saturday here at home. That's you'd really like to go into break up, 2-1 in conference play and not 1-2. That'd be very
sure.
huge.
I mean, we're playing a very good Huntington team who's, I think they're 5-4 right now. But the record's not indicative. They played a tough schedule. They've had some quality wins. They've obviously got some talent on that team. So it's a big matchup. I mean, we've already, we let one go at home, so you really got to protect home turf now.
What is the plan for break? You guys go on the road a little bit, try to enjoy a little bit of sun?
Well, we try to get better over break, so we've got some time to practice, and we're going to take advantage of it. But at the same time, we get a little bit different environment, so we're fortunate enough to where we can go on a sunny trip. You know, we're going to Arizona and playing 2 really good NAIA Division I teams while we're out there. And hopefully it's an extension of this preseason schedule that prepares us for conference. But the cool thing is we get to get away. I mean, it's probably going to be -degree here. It's going to be warm in Arizona. So at least mentally, I think our guys are being refreshed, but we're also getting better.
Well, don't worry while you're gone. We'll hold down the fort here for you.
Appreciate that.
Well, Coach, congratulations on the win. Good luck to you on Saturday. We'll see you on Saturday, and hopefully we'll be talking about the Wildcats 2-1 in Crossroads League play after that one.
Thanks, Raj. Appreciate it.
All right. Well, the men's next game, as we said, will be in Lucky Arena as the Wildcats host the Foresters of Huntington University. That game Saturday, December 5th, 3 p.m. Well, when we come back, we'll look at the women's basketball team as the Lady Wildcats hosted the Cougars of Spring Arbor. Also be joined by the women's head coach, Steve Brooks. So stick around. Well, welcome back to Wildcat Week. The Lady Wildcats hosted the Spring Arbor Cougars in a Crossroads League matchup and came away with a decisive victory. Joined now by the head coach of the Wildcats, Steve Brooks. And Coach, really a solid performance by your ladies. I think both ends of the floor. They came out with an edge, I think, against Spring Arbor after that tough loss at Marion. And I think they maybe wanted to prove something to themselves, if not everybody else.
I certainly hope you're right. I think for us, one of the keys to the whole thing was we actually got some time to practice. Prior to Marianne, we had played all those games in a row and really didn't have time to focus on us. And so over Thanksgiving break, we had an opportunity to just focus on us.
You know, that Marion game was a game that was always within reach, but I'm talking to Coach Bellinger the other day, you just couldn't shoot the ball, missed layups, open shots, and it's kind of strange talking to Coach Tonigal about it, the same thing. Sometimes some games you just can't throw it in the ocean, and a game like last night, very efficient offensively, very effective.
I felt like we moved the ball, and our cuts were much harder. There's some really good play where we were able to move the ball and just create opportunities for ourselves. Kels penetrated and kicked it out. We did a good job defensively being in our gap and not letting them just drive it. Last year they drove it at will on us to the basket, and they didn't get that last night as much. There's a good take by Jess Brown.
I thought she was appropriately aggressive and assertive last night.
Yeah, and she needed to be here. Anna does it too. Anna is a kid that's a difference maker. I think if she plays with that kind of competitiveness, that kind of intensity.
Coming off the bench for you, which is extra special.
Yeah. At her size, she's a matchup problem. There's a heck of a move right there. She doesn't finish, but Michelle does a good job following it up and finishing the play.
How good is it to see Michelle King playing for you off the bench as well as she has this year? She's really done a nice job.
I'm excited for her because I know how hard she's worked, and I know that she's everything this university would want in a person. So there was a really nice read on Jess's part. We did a good job. We made them, they hit those shots, but they weren't, not that I want to give up a three, but
she wasn't going to get an easy layup in the basket.
And that's what our game plan was going into last night. We didn't want to let them just drive by us. That's a heck of a play on Anna's part right there. When you think about 6 foot tall doing that kind of thing is pretty impressive.
You went all the way deep in your bench, and what I thought was nice is, for the most part, once you got the big lead, this was a scary scene when Michaela went down, but your bench played well and executed well. If there was one negative night, it was the injury to Michaela, but we think she's going to be okay.
Yeah, she's number one. She's probably one of our toughest, if not
goodness,
our toughest kid. But it definitely was an ankle sprain. She did have it braced up to begin with, so hopefully it's not maybe as bad as what it seemed last night. At least when we left the gym last night, the trainers were pretty optimistic that it was an ankle sprain. She'd sprained it before, but that she would be day to day.
Well, as we take a look, we saw those highlights. We saw a lot of different people doing good things. Let's see. I could have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 players in double figures. Carly led the way with 16, but Jessica Brown had 15. Erica, she had a nice ball game with 11 points, had some big rebounds, some blocked shots. Kelsey Key, you see flashes of a really good athlete from Kelsey Key. She can make some things happen. Then off the bench, Anna had 10 points. Haley had 10 points. So just really good distribution.
Yeah, and that's with Tori getting in foul trouble, and Tori's one of our leading scorers. She's kind of that spark off the bench that we look for, especially offensively, and she got into foul trouble, and the other kids kind of picked it up. So that's a positive for us. I told the kids last night it was a step in the right direction. It can't be the end point. We still have a lot of basketball to go, and we've got some really good games coming up, especially Saturday. So we've got our work cut out for us still, but we want to keep making progress.
Well, important in that you're now even in the conference at 1-1. Same as the guys who talked to Coach Donegal. Saturday at Huntington becomes extra big because you want to go into that break up 2-1, not down 1-2 in conference standings. But we know what Huntington's been like the last couple of years. They're extremely well coached. They're a team that for some reason can get really hot in a game, and they love to play the Wildcats.
Yes, and they're the team that beat us twice at home last year. And the scary part of it is the first time they did it, well, no, I guess it would have been in the conference tournament. We came off of a game where we shot the ball extremely well against Bethel, and then the next we couldn't shoot the ball in the ocean if we tried. So it's going to be a heck of a game. They're 0-2. They've played St. Francis to an overtime loss at St. Francis, and then got beat last night by Marianne. And so, for them, they're going to play with an amazing sense of urgency. I hope we do as well. It's a road game, and we need it as badly as they do.
Exactly. Well, Coach, thanks for coming in. Congratulations on the win against Spring Arbor, and good luck on Saturday at Huntington. Should be a good one.
Thank you.
All right. Well, as we said, indeed, the next match for the Wildcats, Saturday, December 5th, on the road against the Foresters of Huntington University. Game time for that one is 1 p.m. Well, that's all we have for you this week on Wildcat Week. If you have any comments or suggestions about the show, we'd like to hear from you. You can write us here at the station, WIW-TV, 4201 South Washington Street, Marion, Indiana, 46953. You can visit our website, WIWTV.com. There you can see past episodes and connect with us online. Again, that's WIWTV.com. Well, we look forward to being back with you next week. So for all of us here, thanks for watching Wildcat Week.